Share, learn to share,
Pues, yeah.
Look, her hair is like red right now. It just
Right, ready.
Welcome to the LCS speeches for class of 2022. We ask that you please silence your cell phones before the event to honor today's speakers. Our first speaker today is Shanti Sejong. Shanti will be introduced by our uncle, Nancy Casino. Eight. That is the number of jobs that you will experience before you turn 40 years old. How does one decide what career to choose? In South Korea, 20% of the students, just like you, all want to be K-pop stars. I didn't even know what K-pop was until my niece Shanti introduced me. Although Shanti loves K-pop, I don't think I can see her in front of Yum Center, in front of 20,000 people, center stage. You see, I've come to learn that Shanti is an observer. She has this uncanny ability to take in her environment, process all the different actions and reactions that are going on around her, and then develop her own perspective. While some are talkers, probably her uncle, Shanti's a listener. But today, Shanti will be the talker. She's going to be sharing some of those uncanny observations that she has observed about careers with you today. With that, I introduce my niece, Shanti Sejong.
As children, we were often asked the question of what do you want to be when you grow up? This simple question was a common way to spark easy conversation, and we thought little of it. Our answers were filled with joy and imagination as we responded with an astronaut, or a firefighter, or a detective. Now the question of what do you want to be when you grow up still follows us, but in different forms that feel more daunting and heavy with reality. Variations include, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And what are you thinking about majoring in college? Though so many responses are possible to answer these questions, I still draw a blank. My brain sifts through career categories, desperate for the one, but it has yet to find it. Of the many life-changing questions I am currently being asked, the one I can definitively answer is, what do you not want to be when you grow up? The first career crossed off the list is dance. Though I've danced for a majority of my life, classes, rehearsals, and performances will likely not be occurring in the future. There were plenty of moments when the fun and reward of dance outweighed its demanding nature, but it's the unpleasant memories and experiences that unfortunately stay vivid in my mind and lead me off the path of dancing professionally. Certain teachers were verbally strict, ordering my 12-year-old classmates and I to suck in our stomachs during class and try harder during rehearsals. They would disguise their frustration with the claim that they were providing us with enlighten truths about the rigor of the professional dance world, but a majority of us just wanted to dance for fun. Some teachers were also physically harsh and would maneuver us like taffy by overly stretching our hamstrings for higher extensions, practically snapping our feet in half to force a more arched point, and twisting our legs in their sockets for better turnout. Many of my teachers were critical and precise, and yes, they taught me persistence and hard work, but they also catalyzed my realization that dance is not my future. I had other interests unrelated to dance, and for quite some time, veterinary medicine was my response to any question about future occupations. But after gaining some experience with it, I found my vet aspiration to be incorrect. I do love animals, and I also find medicine to be interesting, but I'm not too captivated by administering animal vaccines or performing spay and neuter surgeries. I'd rather pet animals than cut them open. I don't think I would ever grow as comfortable with obtaining poop samples and plucking ticks as a veterinarian that I should. As for human medicine, I'm occasionally asked, why not follow in your intelligent physician parents' footsteps? Well, if I had inherited their medical knowledge, perhaps I would. But after overhearing countless stories about long days and complicated patients, becoming a physician might not be for me. If I happen to pursue some sort of medicine, animal or human, in the future, I might choose to be in research labs rather than the operating or exam. Speaking of many social interactions, customer service. A humbling experience, and if you are sensitive like me, a sometimes tear-inducing one. I work at a summer farmers market, and one would think that all farmers market patrons are kind, because they are shopping locally and supporting small businesses. But kindness was not always the dominant attitude. Yes, plenty of customers were great, but many were not. Before selling sandwiches, I had the lovely volunteer job of politely asking customers to wear masks and spread out. In the early days of COVID, I had to bear the bad news that reusable bags were not permitted. This rule caused a bit of backlash. Upset people made their angry statements loud and clear. Well, how am I supposed to carry my groceries now? And who made this stupid? I didn't. I was just a messenger. Now for a short speed round. I once signed up to assist an accountant with QuickBooks, but the extreme amount of spreadsheets quickly shut that rendezvous down. I can never be a lawyer. Public speaking and conflict? No, thank you. I've abandoned each musical instrument that I've touched, so musician is probably an unlikely option. Retail managers would probably not want me as a sales associate, because when I was hired at the tween girls clothing store Justice, they went bankrupt a few weeks later. I cannot be a cruise ship captain due to my proneness to seasickness, and my many houseplants would tell you that I'm not the best plant mom. I have a decent list of unlikely future jobs, but I value that I've been able to experiment with a variety of subjects and learn about what I love and what I don't. I could be lying right now. Future me might turn out to be one of the occupations I mentioned above, because who knows where my future interests lie. Hearing my friends easily list off their top 3 majors and programs and jobs has persuaded me to think that I'm behind and that being unsure of my future is foolish. I'm here to tell you that there's no need to settle on your future careers and involvements, now or ever. Experiment with new concepts. Find ways to gain some experience with fields you're attracted to confirm your interest. I was never a fan of hiking, but after being coaxed into a lot of hiking with my friend last summer, I began to hate it less. Yes, being certain of what you desire is great, but understanding what you do not want to pursue is valuable information too. Thank you.
Our second speaker today is Eris Kincaid.
It's not often that you find someone willing to stick with the same routine for 13 years, but here I am.
As a member of the first class of junior kindergarten in 2008, I remember the start of many different friendships, weird middle school disc dances, and some of the best athletic games. Over all the years, I've gained 13 notable memories that I'll share with you now. Number 1 is junior kindergarten. Memories are sparse here, but what I do remember were the sunny days outside on the playground. Next to the playground, there was this large shed with one of the best racehorse items in there, bicycles. Shiny and red with white seats, only having one flaw. Half of the bikes were shorter than the others. To many people, this doesn't seem like an issue, but to 4- and 5-year-olds ready to run over bugs, this was a travesty. How was I supposed to be cool on a small bike? Without the height advantage, all my classmates would think I'm a loser. All in all, tall bicycles give children a godlike complex that they all should have. Number 2 is kindergarten. This was the year I first learned negative results from my spontaneity. After a meeting regarding kindergartners not dating, I built the confidence to ask the cutest kindergartner in my class to be my boyfriend. With no planning needed, I walked up to Jack Hoskins Harris and whispered to him asking if he wanted to be my boyfriend, only to receive a no. Heartbroken, I walked away, embarrassed, but quickly forgot about my crushed dreams. Rejection was not the way I thought that was going to go, but it was what I had to accept. First grade. One of a first grader's biggest challenges is rooted in spelling. With brutally hard vocab quizzes, I was destined to fail. When talking about cold and hot weather, we used a thermometer, and instead of paying attention, I would focus on the word thermometer and how it was spelled exactly the way it's pronounced. The next vocab quiz had the word thermometer on it, and I could not have been happier. I was so very proud of myself because even after not paying attention, I knew how to spell it and got it correct on that quiz, helping me learn that sometimes it's not necessary to pay attention in class. Second grade. One of the hardest years so far, as I lost my father, which overshadows everything else, but this time also helped me realize that I'm never alone. Third grade. The one thing that I'm able to pull out of my head is the Minute to Win It games that Mr. Schindler hosted in this room. Though I didn't participate in any of the games themselves, the smile that Mr. Schindler was able to put on my face while watching my classmates do bizarre tasks in under a minute is something that I won't be able to forget. Thank you, Mr. Schindler. Number 6, 4th grade. I learned about my reading taste. Mr. Flynn was known for his Harry Potter games and candy in his room that anyone from his previous classes could partake in, but another thing he loved was The Hobbit. I quickly learned that I don't have a long enough attention span to listen to a 310-page book, as I quickly got lost listening around 20 pages in. My disliking of the story was unlike all my classmates who absolutely loved it. Thank you, Mr. Flynn. 5th grade. This was one of the most memorable yet terrifying experiences I've had. In Miss Beck's social studies class, we were learning about states and capitals, which turned out to be too difficult for little me to do because I couldn't get myself to actually memorize them or do my homework. One day, when I of course didn't do the homework, I was absolutely desperate to get the answers, so I asked the person right next to me, Ellie Schindler, for the answers right in front of Miss Beck. Not my smartest move ever, but as anyone could guess, I got caught immediately. Thank you, Miss Beck. Number 8, 6th grade. Also known as halfway from the end. Unbelievably, I have another memory including Jack Hoskins Harris. At some point in the year, an advisory video competition came to be, and luckily me, Jack was in my advisory. Known for many of his fantastic productions, the Smooth Criminal advisory video came to be one of the most memorable ones, as I played Annie when my acting career took off and landed, never for me to act again. 7th grade. My health had never been less important to me till 7th grade when we had access to the beloved toaster. Every day during lunch, Shanti Saturn and I would split a blueberry bagel with a topping of butter and at least 2 packets of raw sugar on each half. I hope my body has recovered. 8th grade. My first enjoyable math class taught by Miss Campbell, which consisted of an all-girls class plus Ezekiel Salami. 9th grade. One of the best advisories because Miss Prince, pancakes, the balloon game, and the odd mix of people in that advisory. Thank you, Miss Prince. 10th grade, COVID. Yep. Number 13, 11th grade. I had a hard hit with reality. School does not come easily to some people, especially me. After many C's and a relatively often D, I had to learn that doing well in school requires effort. making this year much easier to go into when I knew that I had to try harder in order to succeed. Thank you, Mr. Travis. Number 14 is what comes this year. With a great start already and so much more to go, I'm excited to finish my time at Collegiate with this group of people. This year has been one of my favorites, with the number of experiences that are coming my way, fewer online classes, and with the people I surround myself with. Having a large requirement checked off my list, I am now finally able to see the end of my collegiate reign, and though I'm very ready and excited for the end, I'm eager to take in my last moments here as a collegiate student. Thank you.
Our third speaker today is Maddie White. Maddie will be introduced by Ms. Sharpenberger.
It is fitting that Maddie asked me to introduce her senior speech. If you don't know us well, we can very well be related. We share many similarities. We are both exceedingly aggressive and have a basic need to get our way in all things. Both of us have a tendency to not think before we speak, regardless of the consequences. And we are both short, very, very short. 80% of the 7th graders are taller than us. Our friends and family usually lose us in a crowd as if we were small children. We spend most of our life looking up and feeling horrible about having to ask people to help us retrieve things from the tops of shelves. However, in the last 4 years, I have found comfort knowing Maddie and I can always see eye to eye and consistently reconnect, despite the fact that I haven't taught her since she was a freshman. Maddie, I am proud of the young woman that you are becoming. Best of luck on your speech. It is my pleasure to introduce Maddie White.
If I had a nickel for every time someone called me short, I would not be standing in front of all of you today. Instead, I would be lounging around my pool in my enormous mansion with my private teacher as I sip on either a Dr. Pepper or a yellow Red Bull. After years of being called every short person in the book, it wasn't until Brianna Doggett introduced the nickname Troll Person that I decided to finally just accept the fact that I was genetically bankrupt. Fun fact, the legal dwarf height is 4'10", and I am 5'3" on a good day. My birth mom, however, is indeed 4'10", making her the culprit of my unfortunate act. I debated for hours on how to accurately depict what it's like being short, and all I could come up with is a pro-con list. Or maybe I've just watched too much Gilmore Girls. If you understand this, you are among the superior. I'll begin with the cons to go ahead and knock the bad out of the way. As many of you know, I work in a restaurant called Jaggers. Jaggers is a building made 100% for tall people. Oftentimes, if I'm on drinks, I'll run out of cups and need to restock a new sleeve of them. Our cups are in a big box on a shelf above all of the counters. For reference, the counters go to about my lower chest, meaning in order for me to actually reach the cups, I have to jump with the utmost effort. I'm constantly asking people to get me cups so I wouldn't have to go through the whole jumping process. But when I get moody, I tend to think I can do everything myself. This has led to multiple boxes of cups being dropped on top of my head. Events similar to this occur 24/7, and I embarrass myself on the daily. You would think being short would aid in not being so clumsy due to being so close to the ground, yet I've never found it easy to stay on my feet. I played soccer for 15 years, and 90% of that time was spent on the ground playing defense. Some would say I'm an aggressive player. Aggressive and clumsy aren't two words I would typically put together, but it's the card I was dealt. I've had multiple injuries, including my shoulder injury this year, that kept me out from the first game of the season to the week of my senior night. Being clumsy has not helped me very much, but at least it gives me something to laugh at, even if it is at myself. Now, to get into the positives. First off, have you ever played hide and seek with a short person? There are millions of hiding spots available to you, especially when you're good at utilizing resources around you. So while I build my amazing fort in the bushes to squeeze my way into, all of the tall people can maybe dress up as a tree and hope it works out okay with them. Secondly, being short means all of your feelings are compact and suppressed into a small body, making them seem 1,000 times as extreme as they really are.
I know you're wondering how on earth this could be a good thing. I didn't understand it either until I learned how to harness the ability of appreciating emotions instead of hating them. Emotions are something I was never fond of. I never felt like I could be in control of them, and I always felt so strongly about whatever I was feeling in that moment. After years of battling these intense emotions, I learned to just accept that they exist and appreciate them. During my happiest moments, I get to experience joy that shines brighter than the sun. While that may mean I feel intensely sad or mad sometimes, the happiness I'm capable of feeling outranks any negative emotions I could feel. I know my future contains a lot of growth, but I can assure you I shall not be growing vertically. Every time I go to the doctor, which we all know is more than anyone ever should, I make sure to stand with my chin held high and my back as straight as possible as they measure me. I always end up being in the same range of 5'2"-ish to 5'3", despite years of growing to height and mature. I just couldn't get out of a 5'2" funk. It wasn't until my most recent doctor's measurement when the best nurse on earth announced my height at 5'3". Ever since this glorious day, I've officially labeled myself as 5'3". Just because I didn't get to have my major sprout doesn't mean my progress goes unnoticed. I know how much hard work I've put in all the years spent training. There have been countless hours exercising, sneakily lifting my head, or learning to raise onto my toes to inch up to a better height. I would say the hard work really paid off as I stand in front of you all as a senior soon to graduate at the beautiful height of 5'3". Being short isn't exactly something you ask for, but if you are blessed, not cursed, with the power of being short, just accept it and use it to your advantage. Don't make all the tall people do all your work and get your cups. Find or make a killer hiding spot, and use what's been given to you and make the absolute best of it. Thank you.
Those were so good. Let's give them another round of applause. Good job, you three. You know what else is so good? The play, Macbeth. Oh my gosh, I saw it last night. It's so good. It's also sold out. Friday and Saturday nights. If you have not already gotten a ticket, you're out of luck for Friday and Saturday nights. But there are, according to Miss Disney, 20 tickets left for tonight's show. So if you want to go see Macbeth and you don't have a ticket yet, consider going tonight. Okay? I also wanted to give a couple other reminders. One, we do not have a fire drill this afternoon as announced this morning, so no fire drill this afternoon. Second, I just want to give a friendly reminder that on the salad bar, as you guys are navigating this new glorious salad bar, we need you to use the bakery tissue when you're using the tongs to make your salad. So please make sure you're doing that step for us. And the final thing is, you guys obviously noticed that we have a little bit of water damage in the upper school, so if you could please leave those areas alone so that they can start to dry and start to repair, we would really appreciate it. So wherever it's marked off, if you can just kind of let it be, that'd be great. Thank you so much, ladies, for giving us some great speeches today. Have a wonderful Thursday.
Shout out to our freshman class. Are you teaching? Very well. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, and it's such a, it's such an example. You're teaching everybody in the world by teaching them. So thank you. Thanks for working with that group.
Yes, I'm excited.
Like, speed.
Yes, I reviewed it yesterday. I had just to put another set of eyes on it because there were a couple things I was like, I don't really want to say.
Okay. About the accident.
No, he says a lot about that, and that's totally fine.
Okay.
And Jen feels fine with that. Yep. And more so, it's like, does his mom, is she fully understanding? Like, is she gonna make some statements that kind of are a little like throwing some shade to his mom? And I just kind of wrote in there, like, I don't think he will listen to
Yes.
because
Right.
there's a huge something.
Yes.
So that was the one thing I was like, okay, look at this one here, because all the information that's kind of things. More the mom things that I was like, okay. So we're going to talk about it this weekend. Okay. This weekend? Yes. Because I'm already here for the said Sunday works for him. So
Let me know if I can do anything.
yeah. But that's just where we are right now. It's already fantastic. There's not a lot of work.
Okay. Thank you, Megan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
here.